Ndudze. Chinonyanya kubata paunofunga mwana wako. Mwana wako kuti dei wanga uinaye.
While some girls play, learn, develop, and explore, some are suffering in silence in cultures and lands that offer beauty and diversity. Why should these girls not enjoy the splendor of having a free life? On the 1st of November, one such girl lay unconscious and in pain from early labor that had set in days before, in critical condition and in need of urgent medical care. Her husband and his religion stood as the proverbial high wall between her health and that of her unborn child. Rudo fell pregnant a year after having been forced to marry a man more than 30 years her senior. She was only 16 years old.
I am 17 years old and the fourth wife to my husband. He is 46 years old. I am very respected by my family and loved by my husband, although he does not buy me clothes. I want more than anything for my child to be born well and to grow up well. I remember how I got married. I was staying with my uncle after my mother and grandmother had passed away. My grandmother had raised me since I was 2 after my mother passed. I have never met my father. I was only told he was in Mozambique.
According to studies, most children, especially girls, who fall victim to child sexual abuse are orphans or disabled, who at times are left vulnerable in society, even when society seems to be extending a hand to them. This because certain cultural practices found in sub-Saharan Africa still infringe in the rights of children, especially girls.
My friends and I were at a church meeting with the congregation. They approached me and proposed that they wanted me to get married to their father. When I refused, they forced me into a room, locked me inside, and persuaded me to talk to their father concerning the marriage proposal. I spent the whole day in there until my husband returned in the evening and asked me what I have decided. I then agreed to be his wife, and that night I never returned home.
Cultural practices have made children more vulnerable to child abuse and child marriages, while in Zimbabwe, 1 in 3 girls are married before the age of 18. An MICS 2014 report states that 5% of women aged 15 to 49 years were first married or entered into marital union before their 15th birthday. Poverty is also a consequence as well as a cause of child marriage. Allowing or facilitating persons under the age of 18 to marry is against several United Nations conventions, and the practice is outlawed in most countries. In the same vein, Zimbabwe's constitution stipulates that no person may be compelled to enter marriage against their will, and that the minimum age of marriage is 18 years for both girls and boys.
I went into labor. The elderly ladies from church came to help me to deliver the baby. At home, any health condition can be treated without going to a hospital.
Some religious groups in Zimbabwe and Africa do not believe in basic medical care, even for critical concerns such as pregnancy. For Rudo, her husband and his belief system stood as the proverbial wall to her good health and that of her unborn child. Rudo fell pregnant a year after having been forced to marry a man more than 30 years her senior. She was only 16 years old. When Childline responded to the anonymous caller, she was taken into emergency medical procedure. The anonymous call was made after about 2 weeks after the labor had begun. The thoughtful caller who made the call that saved a life was worried that she would die and the man who had taken her as wife would go unpunished.
I was in pain, but the baby would not come. The elders were beating me all over my body to force me to push and were using their fists to open the path for the baby. I was in labor pain for about 2 weeks and I was tired and in pain. The elders said they could see the baby's head but was not coming out. I was unconscious when I was finally taken to the hospital. When I woke up and I wanted to go home with my husband and our baby, I asked him and the nurse where my baby was, but no one answered. My baby had died. I was in pain even more when I went to see the baby. I held beloved in my arms. You left me already without seeing you smile. Up to this day, it still pains me.
The extent of Rudo and baby Beloved's case was shocking to say the least, and inasmuch as it is deeply saddening that an innocent life was lost, it's also a miracle that Rudo is alive. The emotional process of Rudo saying her last words to Beloved was painful, but it was also the start of her healing process. As if this was not enough, doctors had to remove her uterus as it was infected and was discharging pus. Throughout all this, Childline, its partners, and the medical fraternity stood firmly with Rudo, caring and supporting her all the way. As a family and rights-based child advocacy organization on sexual and gender-based violence, sexual and reproductive health issues, Childline offers therapeutic and rehabilitation services to those in need, just like Rudo and all children in need around the country. Childline responded using a proved case management model. Childline also roped in other stakeholders like the Department of Child Welfare and Protection Services and the Zimbabwe Republic Police Victim Friendly Unit, among others. Protect children from child abuse. Stop child marriages today and change the life of the girl child forever.